Hey, what's up? It is Monday the 16th. Get your stuff below, and then I do want to say this, we'll have a new seating chart tomorrow. I updated all the grades, so I did that instead. Also, there are picture retakes tomorrow on Tuesday the 17th. Sorry, I was looking up here at this camera. I was supposed to be looking at this camera. It is what it is. Okay, so hopefully you had a good weekend. The best thing about my weekend, everyone's like, the 49ers lose. I'm like, no, that wasn't the best thing about my weekend. Best thing about my weekend is I got tickets to go see the Golden State Warriors, the opening week of the NBA. Let's go! So that's the most exciting thing. And they're gonna be playing Sacramento. So both those teams are good. So I'm excited about that. Should be a good game. Let's keep it moving. So I want you to check Aries and check Canvas. If you were here in the class, you know that I handed out the progress reports. But make sure you go check Aries, check Canvas. I'm going to finish grading. Well, I'm hoping, man. It's already late in the day. But I'm hoping to finish grading the quizzes for periods 5, 6, and 7 today. But periods 1 through 3, yours is 100% up to date. But everything is up to date for every class all the way except for the quiz. Periods 1, 2, and 3, you have your quiz. So just look at that in there. If you need anything, leave a comment, and I will get to it as soon as I can. All right, let's keep it moving. And again, your progress reports, if you get them back to me signed by Wednesday, extra credit for you. All right, moving on. All right, so we talked about this on Friday. So we talked about all of this on Friday. So just as a reminder, forces can be balanced or unbalanced, and the two forces acting in opposite directions. So we talked all about these things on Friday, right? We talked all about this on Friday. And then right here is Newton's second law. And just as a reminder, right, that the greater the mass of the object, the more force is needed to move it. And then when force increases, so does the acceleration of the object. So just know those things. I guess I'm going to have to go figure out what the heck's going on with that thing. Let's go here real quick, but I'm going to pause this. All right, so I just wanted to re-emphasize this thing about speed. Down here is the fact that speed is the distance traveled over how much time it took for that object to travel the distance, right? So again, what this distance that it's traveled, right? So whatever this distance is, and how long did it take this object to travel that distance? That's what speed is. So it's just, again, the distance traveled divided by the time. Now, if you look over here at velocity, now all you're saying is what direction is that object actually heading in, right? That's all that you're asking there. Okay, cool. So let's keep it moving. So direction, again, is a straight path that an object can move along. And right here, we call this thing a compass. North, south, east, and west. Most of you guys have kind of memorized it like this. Never eat soggy waffles. Now, we did this in class today, so hold on. We did this in class today. I'm just grabbing my compasses. So we did this in class today. This is the third time I think I said that. And we pointed, and we said, hey, point in the direction that is west, and people are pointing in every direction. And so we kind of talked about these things that, one, a compass only points in two directions. It points north and south, okay? And so a compass will usually it will have some sort of way to say like, hey, this is the north part of the compass, okay? So to let you know which way is north. So here, I'm going to make this bigger, and hopefully I can, okay. So I have two compasses here. Hopefully you can see that. And if you see, like, I think that that's red right there. And so that way is pointing north. So what you would have to do with the compass, hold on, let's see if we can make it a little bit. There we go. As you can see that part that's red, you've got to keep moving it until it's pointing north. So usually it will be marked like this, colored. Sometimes it's etched, right? So let's see if both of them are pointing. Oh, they are both pointing more or less in the same direction, which that's what you hope for a compass, right? Okay, there we go. Boom. So as you can see, one has a little tiny tick mark there, right? Like a little tip painted red, and the or green, red or green, I don't know, as far as partly colorblind. And then this one has it pointing. So again, it only points north or south. So if you have the compass like this, yeah, it looks like it's pointing west, but the reality is it's still pointing north. It only points north and south. So hopefully you get that about a compass. And we went outside and we talked about which way our classroom is facing. And then we also talked about the idea that the sun rises in the east. So in our classroom, that's like towards the back, and it passes over into the west, which is behind us, because north is kind of off in that direction. So never eat soggy waffles. I know it's a little bit hard with the orientation, but do your best. So again, the sun rises in the east, and again, I don't want to get too technical because it technically doesn't rise, but the way our perception is that it rises in the east and passes over into the west, and that's kind of how we see it in our sky. So that's kind of how a compass works. I wish you were here. If you can get a compass, I might get one and go outside and use it. Maybe get the one on your phone and go outside and check it out and see where the sun is at. And in the morning, it'll be in the east, and as it passes overhead, then in the evening, it'll be in the west. So when I leave right now, it's going to be in the west. Okay, so that was the field trip we took. Now what I want you to do, and Mr. Farr is not going to pause, so you're going to need to pause, is right here within this green box right here. That's what you need to outline. So speed and is just equal to distance divided by time. We talked about this already. Now right here, this is just an example of that. So the distance in this case is the 4 meters. The time in this case is the 2 seconds. So 4 divided by 2 happens to be 2, and that's 2 meters per second. Now that is giving us speed. Now if we say what direction this object was going in, and we got a toy car here, so if we say 2 meters per second to the right, now we have velocity, okay? So remember, these two are very similar, but speed and velocity are different. And here's the deal. Speed and velocity, though, are calculated exactly the same way. Distance divided by time, and I'll move myself because it actually says that right here, is that it's distance divided by time, and this was in your linking literacy reading, is equal to speed and velocity. The only difference is with velocity, you have to have what direction the object is traveling in. Okay. Cool. So let's just move along right here. Oh, and just pause that if you need it. Okay. So now we're going to talk about two different things. Unfortunately, you can't see that other. Oh, boom. There it is. Distance traveled and displacement. Okay. So the difference between the two is that displacement is how far are you from where you started or where your point of origin is. And then distance traveled is how far are you or how far has the object moved or have you moved. Okay. So if Timmy here goes from A to B, he's traveled 3 meters, okay? 3 meters, cool. But then if Timmy travels from A to B and then B to C, now he's traveled 8 meters, okay? But his displacement is different because now you've got to calculate from A to C. Does that make sense? As far as how he's moved. Then, if Timmy decides, okay, well, I'm going down to D, his total distance traveled is the 3 meters plus the 5 meters plus the 3 meters. That would be 11 meters total distance traveled, but his total displacement, how far is he from where he started, is only 5 meters. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's kind of like this thing like this. Mr. Farr has traveled here to school. It takes me about 30 miles to get here. So my distance traveled is 30 miles. My displacement is also 30 miles. Now, when I go back home, which is where I started, my distance travel is going to be the 30 miles here and the 30 miles back. That is my distance travel. So about 60 miles is my distance travel. But my displacement's going to end up being 0 because now I have gone back to the place that I started. So again, displacement is about how far is the object from its beginning position, its final position. How far is it from its beginning position? And if I go back to my home, I am at my beginning position. All right. So I'm not going to say too much here. I've more or less explained all of these things in the last slide. So you just want to pause it and get this in your journal. Again, get all of this in your journal, okay? Cool. So I'm going to move forward, though. All right. So the last thing is this, all right? Now, the students in the class, they got themselves, I don't know where to put myself to not be in the way, okay? I'm not really certain. I feel like I'm in the way. Oh, that actually works. Totally fine. So this is the worksheet that the students got in the classroom, okay? And this is the entire worksheet right here. And then this is just a zoomed up version of the map where you're going to do some math. And you're going to look at the different segments and see what direction are they heading. And then what you're going to do is you're going to calculate the speed for each segment. And then you're going to end up calculating the velocity. Well, not calculating. You're going to end up finding the velocity by calculating the speed and then finding what direction was the object going. All right. So this is where we will start. And again, if you are at home and you're not in class, you're going to end up having to do probably this whole thing inside of your journal, where the students in class will have a worksheet. If you want the worksheet, if you're really like, Mr. Farr, I really want the worksheet, I want to be able to see it, totally cool. Again, it's everything that's on the screen. Just send me an email and I will shoot you out the worksheet. All right, y'all, that's it for today. Peace.